I'm Peggy Huppert, and I'm the Executive Director of NAMI, Iowa.
Okay. And
NAMI, National Alliance for Mental Illness.
okay. And what do they do?
We are the largest grassroots organization in the country. We have chapters in all 50 states, and we advocate, educate, and support people with serious mental illness and their families. As Iowa's consistent rankings toward the bottom of all states in different categories of mental health programs and services, the one that keeps getting mentioned, I know, is the state beds, psychiatric beds, which we now are down to only 32 in the whole state. And there are other measures of services and programs, but that certainly is not good.
How many people in the state of Iowa do you suppose suffer from mental health issues?
About 100,000.
And it's how many beds?
32.
What about just regular facilities, care, just to care, in an outpatient basis?
Well, there's over 700 inpatient beds total, counting the private beds. Those are just state beds of the 32. But the problem is there are certain categories of people with serious mental illness that are very difficult to place with private providers for different reasons, behavioral, and so that's an issue. And then there aren't enough services all up and down the care spectrum. So people sit in the scarce hospital beds because they can't get into a lesser level of care. There aren't enough of those. So the reorganization that happened several years ago, I think, was a good thing, because we went from at least 99 counties to 14 regions. There is more coordination, and there is some really good stuff going on, but we need more resources across the board.
Resources meaning?
Money.
From?
Money. Well, the regions are funded through property tax dollars. And Polk County and several other big counties have hit their levy limit for mental health funding. That's an issue. State and federal money, it's all combined. And when you compare it to inflation, overall funding for mental health has not kept pace with inflation. Community programming is great, community-based programming, but you have to be able to support it, and it can be expensive, at least up front.
What do we need? What do we need to do?
Legislators need to hear from their constituents that this is an issue. There needs to be more support. If the governor is going to close the last two state mental health facilities, as I've heard he wants to, then they need to be specific about which private providers are stepping in to take those services. It's not good enough to just say it will happen. I think people need to demand to know how it's going to happen.
Perfect.